Have the lines between makeup artist and influencer blurred too much?
1000%.
Let's ask the audience.
What's the wildest request you've ever had as a makeup artist? Can you make it last to the next morning? So like after the wedding, I could go down for breakfast in my makeup.
We can't take a Neutrogena wipe to the face before we slither down to the Holiday Inn lobby to get a stale blueberry muffin? Are we teaching the next generation to associate value with virality and appearance over skill and authenticity? That made me realize how much we've been conditioned to associate social media with your self-worth.
The amount of times that I would have to put on celebrity lashes from Sephora collection. They were fucking nothing.
Things weren't caught up with each other.
We were
yet.
fine putting leg and body makeup from Dermablend on the face, but we...
You may not realize that you're judged by the way that you look. Today, you can brush your way to sheer beauty. Let me show you how.
Good.
Jones dead?
Good.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to a new episode. Katy Perry went to space.
You want to talk about the elephant in the room? You have to introduce her.
Oh my God, I know, guys.
Oh. Just a baby.
Everybody say hello to Brandino the mouse. This is Brandy. Me and Casey are watching my sister-in-law's dog. We used to live with her for a little bit in the apartment. This is a teddy bear. And I always say, look at her gay wrists. She always does gay wrists. She's 15 years old, but she's adorable.
And she is just living
So
La Vida
cute.
Loca.
I know. She has a very limited shelf life of how long she lets you love her. And then she's like, okay.
Put me
enough.
down.
Yeah, put me down. Girl, Katy Perry in space is just what a I think, I don't know, was this you and me or me and Casey? Both my husbands at this point, so I don't remember. But just the, how did you think people were going to react to this? It still baffles me to, how much and I don't want to just say Hollywood, because then I just feel like one of the Hollywood, but just public figures and the whole nine yards still think we care about celebrities like that, as if it's 2002 and we're gobbling up People magazine. What does Jennifer Aniston eat for dinner? We don't care anymore. You know what I mean?
100%, because I think at this point, especially with the political climate that we are in and how we spend our money, how we are being more environmentally conscious.
Yeah.
And to go to space for 11 minutes for no reason.
A PR stunt. For PR.
So I don't understand why, especially with people talking about celebrities and their private jets and how much jet fuel and everything. We went to space for 11 minutes.
Yes.
The whole trip was 11 minutes. It takes me longer to DoorDash food.
They were in
they were
space for 2 minutes.
So she sang a verse of a song that was not...
You and I! In that echo. That's why Gayle King was crying when she came back down.
Gayle King.
Girl.
Was like, do I have a parachute? Because
Yeah,
I'm
girl.
I'm going to go back early.
Just so ridiculous.
I think it's so, what a waste of time, money, resources, when the amount of money, I can't even imagine the amount of money that took, that we could have invested that into something more meaningful. And
Millions.
what a fucking waste of time. What a waste of energy. And I just can't believe that we have nothing better to do but send 5 women into space for what?
Yes.
We weren't exploring anything in space. I'm all for space travel. If we are making discoveries, if we are doing it for historical reasons, if we're going to a planet to discover something, I'm all for it. I find that fascinating.
Venus.
We went up,
Girl.
and we said, whoop, whoop,
That's
and came right back down.
That's what I heard someone say. They're they basically Ubered to space. You took an 11-minute Uber ride.
And then Katy Perry acted as if she was up there for 6 months.
Flying the rocket.
And she came down and not only kneeled on a carpet, but then kissed the ground. So
Yeah.
Are you worried about cleanliness, kneeling on a carpet before you kiss the ground? Because your lips touch the dirt.
Girl.
But your lips touch dirt all the time when you sing your music.
There
so
you go. Girl, and kiss Russell Brand. I fucking and
True.
just the hypocrisy of it all, because the insult that people in these interviews are calling the celebrities, because I know there was one woman on the flight that was an astronaut, did the work like a real astronaut, calling the rest of them, you're an astronaut now. As if now, all of a sudden, now it's like getting a doctorate from Yale, an honorary doctorate.
Somebody was,
No,
I
you
almost
didn't.
said emailing. Someone was interviewing Katy Perry. They were like, well, how does it feel to be an astronaut now? And she goes, you know, I can't really, it's just such a great feeling. And then she went on this other interview and she was like, yeah, to see the stars. And I love astronomy and astrology and stars.
Did
and
you hear her simultaneously going, I'm so excited to do this. I'm just so excited to like learn about STEM. To learn about all of STEM. All of STEM.
In 11 minutes?
She's never heard of mathematics,
And
never heard of science.
She was like, oh, and I was watching the documentary with Carl Sagan.
Yeah.
And I have seen such a thing. I took astronomy, very fascinating. But she was like, oh, yeah, and then she quotes him and saying, we're all made of star stuff. And then she said stardust. And I said, so you're trying to be
her next single.
Miss Katy
Stardust.
Sagan.
Yeah.
You
We're
are
all
get
made of
the
stardust.
fuck out of
That
here.
will be her new song.
Stardust. Well,
Sticks and stones can break my bones, but we're all made of stardust. Girl, that will be the song.
that will be it. You better.
I'm telling you. Girl, Stardust Dreams. Still making music.
Dreams with a Z.
Make kids bop. But to call them astronauts and as NASA's being gutted, like a real people who know STEM are losing their jobs left and right. But then she's an astronaut.
But she gets to go up there for 2 minutes.
But it's more, what fascinates me is like, because beyond all that, of course, like stupid people are going to say stupid things, but it's more, what did you think the public reception was going to be? Like, we don't, and I even said this, I remember during the election, I remember the minute I saw Kamala Harris bring Beyonce out, I was like, fuck. That hurt her. And up to then, her campaign at least seemed to have such a good finger on the pulse of like what worked with maybe even younger voters and the whole 9 yards. And then she did this celebrity tour the last like 2 weeks of her campaign. And I go, girl, why? How is the memo late to all of these people that like Beyonce, whether you're a fan or not, like now is she and especially her husband are under, you know, basically
Scrutiny,
trying to be brought down for everything him and Jay-Z and P. Diddy did. It's not 2002 anymore, where, like I said, we're
celebrity
like,
endorsements.
What shoes does Celine Dion wear when she's cooking on Sundays?
Yeah.
We at this point, and I just heard this quote the other day, we live in a world now where either no one knows anything about you or they know what you ate for breakfast. And that no longer is only conducive to just celebrities. We can know what your neighbor eats for breakfast if they're on social media because they post their breakfast. So it's demystified. People magazine is no longer our peek behind the curtain because social media has led us into everybody's lives. So there's no more mystique. There's no more mystery. And then lo and behold, shockingly, with social media over the course of the last 15 years, it has single-handedly decimated our false, not everybody's, but our false idolization and worship of celebrities because we realize that most of them are just self-indulgent rich assholes. We don't care what Jennifer Aniston ate for breakfast and like we did in 2002 because the other 6 days of the week we're seeing her in Cabo and whatever. Or like Katy Perry, agreeing to Jeff Bezos, one of the mustache twirlers of our world, wasting millions of dollars while underpaying his slave labor employees to go to space for 2 minutes, an 11-minute ride. And then in a year, she'll be posting on her social media about climate change and sustainability and wealth distribution. You just took a multi-million dollar space ride to sell your failing album. And in a year, you're going to be preaching to everybody the antitheses of everything that this trip just culminated.
Yeah.
Gayle King too, all of them, the hypocrisy of it. I'm just like, what do you think people's I saw a girl too, she's like a comedian online and she made a video going what they thought the reaction would be. And she's in her car like, yes, fucking girl bosses. Like, what did you think people were going to say?
I really do think that people were going to focus more on it being an all-female venture to space. But
I think the world would stand an all-female astronaut venture to space. We know those women work so hard to get there. Not a
Miss
vanity
Teenage
ride.
Dream going to space for what? She is not on an exploration of space. She went there. What was the reason? Cardi B. What was the reason?
Just, it's like
because it's all for publicity. And I think it's
deafness.
just so, again, to your point of like, and I thought about this so much. I'm like, what was the point? And I really do think they thought it was such a fucking flex to go there. And I'm like, I hope it was worth it.
I know.
I hope your 11-minute fucking ride was worth it, because I still had to wait 30 minutes to get my Five Guys delivered while you went up in space and down. So
ridiculous, girl.
I hope you had a good time.
Like, that's what I mean. It just always baffles me what they think the public's reception is going to be. Is like that doesn't work anymore. Like the Kamala Harris with Beyonce thing, that actually hurts you more than anything. I was remembering Kamala voters through and through being like, girl, this isn't the move. Like, they're no longer that untouchable thing that we know nothing bad about what they did, where their endorsement means anything. If anything, it hurts.
And even if they are someone like
the most beloved person in the world.
Because take Gaga, for example, with Hillary, when she, went on that.
Come to mama. Come to mama.
Tell me who hurt you. You.
Singing Come to Mama at Hillary's rally.
And girl, I just don't think it is necessary. You can do whatever, you can support whoever, but I think this weird thing that we think that do whatever you want, and you can go to space and for no fucking reason and it'll be fine. No.
Yes.
There's going to be repercussions. There's going to be people saying that you went there for no reason. Environmentally, you've done so much damage in 11 minutes.
Yes.
And to go to space, so you can like write it in your diary that you went to space with 4 other women. I don't get it, girl.
As if it was a flex.
Wrap it the fuck up. It's a wrap. Like, girl, I don't know. Like, nothing was saving your career, so I don't.
And in general, how condescending to women. How condescending to women as a whole that you thought women in the world were going to look at this as if it was such an empowering thing for them. Like I said, as you're simultaneously gutting NASA, any space programs of women who have went to school for it, made it their career, losing their jobs left and right. But just because the vanity display of 5 out of 6 women who have nothing to do with this, Katy Perry, going to space, that's how easily satisfiable women are to feel represented. Their bar is so low that let's send Katy Perry and alike to space, and all women of the world will feel so empowered. I think women in 2025 deserve a little bit more effort than that.
It would be, and again, it would be incredible if they were 5 astronauts.
Absolutely.
That women that fought for their place in a male-dominated space. Yeah. That would be very impressive. That would be empowering to the younger girls that want to be astronauts growing up, saying those 5 women fought for their place to be an astronaut.
That's inspiring.
Katy Perry was asked to go.
Yeah.
And her manager said, yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
This will sell some Smile albums. Or I don't even know what the new one is. 469.
143.
Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 5.
The amount of seconds that people listen to the album.
I was gonna fucking do the Les Mis thing. 60301 or whatever it's fucking like,
girl.
And then walking out of the spaceship saying, "Thank you, Daddy Bezos, for paying for that trip." The man that says he hopes his employees go to bed in fear. And like I said, then Gayle King and Katy Perry in a year will be on CBS or be on an interview talking about how
get your hands dirty planting a tree.
At the time, because God knows in a year, every Amazon facility will be on fire because the employees will protest to the point that they burn everyone down. She'll be on the CBS News going, "I stand with them."
Yeah,
No, you didn't. You flew with him.
We're planting trees. She has the gloves on with the tags on. Katy Perry,
Amazon
like we're planting trees all day. I love to plant. I love the earth to breathe. While you rocketed to space,
girl,
actively probably. Girl, I can't imagine the emissions that gave off.
I just can't.
That I'm waiting for the apology press tour.
Yeah. The hypocrisy of it. I'm getting hot.
I could go on about for this for days. It's so stupid.
And then we have Lady Gaga's Coachella performance was just
outstanding.
It was a film. Which, if anyone, by the way, because I saw so many comments, I was watching it in shitty YouTube videos people posted. If you go to the Coachella YouTube channel and click on the live stream of the main stage, it's called, it's always on a loop. Just rewind to like when she starts, and you can see
so many
the
people didn't know that.
No, I
and
didn't.
that's I was like, I'm going right back to that's how I watched it
Yeah.
the morning.
The morning,
the morning after, because
yeah.
I was not staying up till 2:10 in the morning.
No.
So I was like, girl, I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, and you can see the good camera feed because you have to see it that way. It was, and we said if this is an indication of the Mayhem tour,
I'm so excited.
Father, Son, House of Gucci.
I already have like parts of my outfit already planned. I am so ready for this tour. I'm like not gonna be okay. This is I do love to tour.
Yeah.
I have never been more excited to see her because this is everything I've been waiting for.
Yes.
Where she seems happy again.
Oh.
And
I excited to create.
Good for her for even like going on this stage and creating such an amazing presence. And for people that weren't even Gaga fans at Coachella, they were like, that was epic to watch live.
Insane.
I mean, the production level.
We said it was like giving us a Born This Way Ball 2.0 because it was that tour got canceled. So many people didn't get to see it. And it was very much the same aesthetic where that was a very medieval castle. And I said, as me being a little theater gay who has seen the film Phantom of the Opera 269 times, my gay heart of this opera house stage of all those like, and even the costumes and everything were reminiscent. It was like Phantom thing. I was just creaming my jeans.
I mean, I was a little nervous for Coachella because I feel like that's like the place where it's a little more public.
Yeah.
These people didn't pay for a Coachella ticket for you.
Yes.
Some might have.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, that's amazing. I was going to go anyway.
Yes.
But the fact that she went there and said, you're at my concert now.
Yes.
This is my ship.
Yes.
I'm taking over.
I'm not trying to do mass appeal.
I couldn't believe it.
I know.
And she didn't do a lot of the songs that I thought she was going to do. And I kind of have respect for that.
Yes.
And if it's any indication of how this tour and for the next year is going to go.
I know.
Like, I can't wait for August. I'm like,
so excited.
Gimme.
For today's episode, this was kind of inspired, and I love Purchase or Pass. We love Makeup Police, so on and so forth. Let me know if you agree. I don't like drama videos. I don't like what someone did, who's lying, or even the downfall of a whole brand for clickbaity shock value. Trust me, we probably have one analyzing Mac coming up, but the business of it all, I love. But I was like, we are sitting on so much experience as makeup artists and so much as content creators and the whole 9 yards and working with brands and knowing so many dead bodies about behind these curtains. I was like, how do we talk about makeup and beauty still in a way that's just more conversational and brain picking? And that's kind of what gave me this idea. So we ended up asking ChatGPT for controversial and thought-provoking and interesting questions around being makeup artists, being beauty lovers, being beauty content creators, which are all very different things, because we know, we have the experience to share, talk about all the artistry aspect of it all. We've also are both content creators in beauty, and neither of us shy away from controversial. I was in ChatGPT like more controversial, like because it was all fluff in the beginning. I'm like, no, girl, let's
go there.
Yeah. So all right, well, let's dive into these questions.
I feel like we could start from the top.
Okay.
I feel like they
let's take it from the top.
Let's take it from the top. I feel like they kind of went in
all right,
order.
Nice. What was the moment you realized makeup wasn't just a hobby?
I have very distinct memories of knowing for sure that I remember I was like, oh, I could see this being my job.
This is going to be a problem.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I was working at Hot Topic at the time, and there was a makeup line called War Paint Beauty. And then it turned into Blackheart Beauty when they rebranded. It was a little more elevated. Edgy. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Because War Paint Beauty, if any of you remember War Paint Beauty, it was the art pop of makeup lines. And it was very chaotic and colorful. Then Blackheart Beauty was sleek black packaging. It was very Fame Monster almost. It was that kind of grungy vibe, and I loved it. But I remember buying a bunch of that when I worked there, and I would do people's makeup and like my friend group just like playing around. And I was just kind of always like, and it was shitty boots.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know what I was doing, but they would always let me just like do their makeup. And they're like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I just remember sitting there and I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
I was like, something ain't right here. I think I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I started to wear it to work and be more experimental. And then I was wearing just like, I was just doing it to, I wasn't trying to wear makeup to disguise acne anymore. And I was wearing it kind of like in a way that I'm like, this is just who I am. So then I was like, oh, this isn't just like, this is going to be a job.
Yeah.
I'm going to transition this into a skill.
Yes.
And this is going to be a thing now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine was like special effects makeup. When I was in cosmetology school.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to do like TV and film. That really was my thing. And when I was in cosmetology school, they didn't teach us shit, but especially makeup.
No.
But we used to have these like, maybe every 3 months, we would have these competition nights where we were in groups, and like around Halloween, it would be like a bunch of groups, and you would have like, you would pick, Freddy Krueger or whatever the case is. And most of it was designed around the 99% of the focus, especially for my cosmetology school, was the hair. So no one really wanted to do the makeup. So I was like, I'll fucking do Freddy Krueger. You know what I mean? So then that's when I fell down the rabbit hole of like ordering latex and these whole 9 yards. And when I started doing makeup in that way, that's where I was like, oh, I like this more than hair. And I was like, okay, fuck, I guess I should finish this $20,000 cosmetology license that I'm never going to use. But I was like, I really like makeup better. Then the nail in the coffin was when I graduated cosmetology school and got hired at the salon. I was like, I don't like this environment. I hate it. And because it was so bitchy, it was so catty. And I feel like I've told the story, but I quit. Well, I didn't even quit because I got hired in my interview, which is a red flag because nobody else wanted to work there. And it was a very rich salon, like fancy schmancy. And I was shadowed this girl. That's what really turned me off to the whole thing. I left and I was like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I am going to apply at every Sephora and MAC that I could. And that's when I started working at Sephora.
That's amazing.
And it was funny because I remember it was like, I never really talked to them, but I heard rumblings that like all the people in my cosmetology class, it was like a gas going around my cosmetology school that like Johnny's not doing hair. He's like works at Sephora and is doing makeup because I was great at hair. Don't get me and I was like the first one graduated. I finished the quickest. I was ready to go.
Yeah.
And they were all shocked that I didn't want to do hair because I was so good at it. Wow. But I just I just loved the transformation of makeup.
Yeah. And I remember I was working at a salon when I was 16, I think, 16, 17. I was still in high school. Within that time, I realized watching a makeup artist come in and do makeup, I was fascinated by her. And I was like, everything in her kit was all MAC. And I was just like, I think I want to be you.
It's something about the before and after. Like I'm somebody that I'm a sucker. You want to make me come, play me a video of a vacuum or a deep cleaner running across that brown carpet and it's a clean line.
Yeah.
That's why I love power washing. I love anything.
The carpet cleaning videos on TikTok.
Anything that there is a clean before and after,
Totally.
the transformation turns me on.
Yeah.
And when I would watch makeup artists, I'll never forget at IMATS one year, I went way before, I think around maybe when I was in cosmetology school, and I saw Eve Pearl.
Oh my God.
Girl, blast from the past.
Wow.
Do a demonstration on somebody. And it was like, it was unbelievable. Like to see that much of a transformation was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Ooh. How do you stay inspired when you're in a creative slump?
This is still something that I don't let the public in on because what people don't see is scary. Okay. The thought process and like when you're in that kind of like, when I get in a creative slump, I get very gaga,
depressed.
If you will. I get very like my art is my art and I get very annoyed with myself. And I get almost very like pent up and angry because I'm like, where did that go? Yeah. So the thing that I do that you have probably seen the creative slumps where I take big swings. So let's put it that way. Because I almost have to shock my system out of that slump where I'm like,
You fucking need to Pulp Fiction to your chest.
Because that's where I almost understand Gaga sometimes when she takes big swings where I'm like, where do you think you're going? But I'm like, I get you. I know what you're doing.
You got to make the art pop so you can.
Girl, I mean, there were days where I used to go to Sephora with faux bleached brows, and then I would take the Hydra liners, like the wet activated, and they were all neon. And I put them pooling here. And then I would just let them run.
Crying tears.
Run.
Neon tears.
Run.
My gothic dreams.
And then I would very art pop. I would take the same Hydra liners and I would work them in my fingers and just press them in the lip. And that was it. And let them dry. And I went to work. And I just, then I would snap out. And then I had white lashes top and bottom. It was just.
Hey.
I don't know what
I totally get that.
Getting out of a creative slump, I had to shock my brain into being like, you like doing this, get creative again.
Yes.
And then when I do that and I see other color stories and palettes and I start to, there's certain colors that even pull me out of a slump.
Ooh,
when I do teal eyeshadows or blue eyeshadows, it pulls me right out of a. If I'm feeling a little nasty girl.
Who's that nasty girl?
Yeah.
I believe it or not, especially it's interesting. I want to see how I handle this maybe now getting back on the filming train of shorts, but before in act 1 of my social media career, believe it or not, bitch, you know what is my Trimex to the creative juices? When it comes to makeup, music. I would not know what to do. You give me a song that I'm just like feeling like that I love so much. And that's when I would always do like transition videos and stuff. Like I would rely on other things that I love, where it would be like when I did transition videos, the makeup I did in it was like 5% of my motivation. It was all the filming and the transition and how smooth the transition could be, and the song I was doing it to, if I was lip syncing to it. And then with the makeup, I loved, because also TV film, I loved music would always be the springboard to go, what would this makeup be? Yeah. What would this song be as makeup? And that would be my translation.
I do the very similar thing, especially with Gaga always. Not just the makeup from her TV, film, and music videos, but it was more so what that translates to into my style of makeup, color stories, aesthetics. That's how, even when Disease came out, it wasn't doing the Disease makeup. It was, what does this make me feel? And what does that translate in my brain, color story? What kind of like going through the Rolodex of like all the looks that I could see. And then I'm like,
well, that's very makeup artist.
Yeah.
That's very makeup artist. And I actually think we have a question along the lines of like, exactly what's the difference between what you do on clients versus yourself?
Oh,
and that's
Lord,
that's
so
very
different.
What you just said is makeup artist brain, because I agree with you. Very rarely would I don't think I have ever, especially if I'm really going to go full beat the whole 9 yards, would I just shot for shot recreate a makeup look in a way. It's always, what would I have done on her for the Disease video? How does Disease make me feel? Kind of a thing.
And if I were putting myself in her shoes in this, if I were Gaga on the streets, very street makeup.
Yes.
What would I want my makeup to look like in this era of that?
Totally.
That's what I want.
Yes.
Not necessarily for that specific medium.
Yes.
But what is that kind of looking like then day to day?
Yes. Oh yeah, God, I love that, and I wanted that's the stuff I'm excited to get back to, because that's always been a springboard of like, I loved Paint the Town Red by Doja Cat when that came out. Like that was a transition. I was like, we are going fucking red. Like that always gives me the starting point where then I'm gonna look
like Miss Hooker at the Mayhem Ball,
literally, or even clothes. Like if I buy like an acid green jacket.
Oh yeah.
Right now. I don't know if you see up close, but there's always a catalyst for what there's only so many crayons in the box, and there's only so many crayons in the fucking box, to be honestly. And it's like, okay, why do you want to wear blue today? Like, and that's always where I use something
wear it
else.
Too.
Exactly. That's always where I use something to as my springboard, like fashion or music. Are you enjoying Beautiful and Bothered? Not feeling so fresh? You should subscribe to the Beyond Bothered Patreon, where we'll freshen you right up. We will. We'll freshen your makeup up. If you guys like Beautiful and Bothered, whether you've been a fan since the beginning or you're new here, make sure to check out the Beyond Bothered Patreon. It's like a whole nother world over there where you guys get after shows every single Wednesday of the month where we talk about everything from Overflow from here. We open PR in real time. We talk about our first kiss.
We talk about everything that doesn't make it into the episodes that sometimes we want to talk about, but for time's sake, we can't.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about, when we get heated about our favorite TV shows that we're watching at the moment.
And let's just say maybe the tea's a little spicier every now and again because we don't have to worry about the people we're talking shit about watching it. So there's that. So there's after shows every single Wednesday. And then the last Wednesday of the month is a full bonus episode. So full length bonus episode. And then with the beauty tier, you guys get all of the podcast stuff plus beauty videos every single week with, at the end of the month, a full beauty tutorial, like over 2 hours, that is anything from us doing new makeup to answering your questions about skincare and makeup and hair care in real time. It's just so beyond worth it over there.
Beyond worth it.
Beyond worth it. If you head over there right now, you will have enough content to last you probably 6 months.
All exclusive content. So this content gets posted nowhere else. This is just for you when you go into those tiers. So enjoy it.
So check out the link in the description box to head over to the Beyond Bothered Patreon and start having some fun, girl. Ooh.
So the next one we have is, what's the wildest or most unexpected request you've ever had as a makeup artist? Girl, the one that comes right to my mind.
Your memory's better than me.
I know you are gonna. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Can you make my makeup last for more than one day?
That girl, that's not right.
Can
I sleep in this?
I'm not kidding.
You can.
Without exaggeration.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Every other person that I did at Sephora, I'm not exaggerating. They said, can you make it last to the next morning? So like after the wedding, I could go down for breakfast in my makeup. I was like, are you
doing heroin tonight?
I was like, are you out of your fucking mind?
Girl.
I was like, first of all, I can't guarantee you rooting around in your fucking bed that your makeup isn't going to fucking come off.
What are we doing?
And I know when I've slept in my makeup, like even Gaga talked about it in the disease video. She's like, I want my makeup to look slept in. Yes. Lashes were twisted. Shit was just fucked up.
Yeah.
Your makeup is never going to look fresh when you wake up. No. And I've fallen asleep in my makeup quite a few times.
Yes.
It never looks right. Your foundation is still on, but your contour, blush, bronzer, she went out the window.
Yes.
So that always kind of fucking pissed me off because it was wild. And I was like, and I would get mad and I was like, don't be disgusting. And I would finish doing their, because it was always at the start of the makeup and then doing the setting spray. And they're like, is this going to last?
Yes.
And I was like, no.
Because those are the same people that were going to come back into Sephora a week later and go, every time I wear makeup, I break out. I can only wear clean. You're not clean. Well, why don't you be clean?
That's why they wanted it to be clean too. They wanted products that didn't make them break out because they could wear it for 36 hours.
Yeah, like those are the people. Exactly.
And then the double wear clients were always like, well, it says 36-hour wear. Can I wear it overnight? I'm like, no, girl.
What are we doing?
And I hated those claims of 24 hours.
The elevator also says the weight capacity is 3,000 pounds, but we don't try that. We don't push it to the limit.
I'm not jumping down with Miss Bigums in the elevator.
Like, we're not seeing how many people we can fit in the elevator.
Okay, that's another thing that scares me. When people are like, yeah, just pack in. I'm like, no. And I'm like adding people up.
No,
like,
girl.
2, 3.
It's enough. Yeah, you stay off. Yeah. Like, and the fucking, because listen, as someone that gets churned at weddings, I'm not saying you gotta double cleanse your face before you go to bed. But if you go to bed without washing your face at a wedding because you're pissed drunk, have at it, girl. We can't take a Neutrogena wipe to the face before we slither down to the Holiday Inn lobby to get a stale blueberry muffin.
Because they might see their aunt twice removed.
Who's at the wedding?
Yeah.
Who's at the wedding that's going to judge you for having just a makeup wipe face? And girl, I don't know, do a little like dewy setting spray before you go down on fresh skin. You'll look dewy and radiant. Everyone else looks bone dry. I don't know what to tell you. I like. This isn't 1950 where you have to use cold cream to get your makeup off.
Yeah.
Get a Neutrogena wipe that could probably take the paint off my wall.
Yeah.
Wipe your face and then go get your muffins. Like,
but have you ever had a weird request though of doing someone's makeup, But without the wear time, any like weird,
honestly,
strange things?
I don't know because and if I did, it would have been the Sephora days, but my memory, I'm so fried. When I did makeup on people, sometimes it would always kind of like just send a tickle down my spine if they would want their makeup done, but no foundation. And I'd be like, well, then I'm going to go home because the transformation. I'm like, then what are we doing here?
I hate
what are we doing?
The no lashes, but they want the heaviest eye makeup, the heaviest. They wanted full glam, and I'm talking
lashes. 2016
makeup. It was
lip liner and lipstick.
They wanted foundation 3 inches away from their face, that thick, no lash with I'm talking a blacked, blown out smoky eye. And I'm not kidding.
Yeah, girl.
Just because you have mascara and the shadow was black around your eye, that don't mean that it doesn't call for a lash, because the lash gives you the volume and the opening to your eye again.
Yes.
The amount of times that I would have to put on celebrity lashes from Sephora collection.
Those scarlet lashes. Boop, boop. Yeah. Oh,
the celebrities. Girl. Because they were fucking nothing. And they were oh my God, they were nothing. But I was like, if we are doing anything, we have to just do these $10 pieces of shit.
Because
we have to.
I can't describe it. Like, and if you're having the urge to get defensive right now, it's the equivalent of, and I'll use a man as an example because we wear more separates for formal. You know what I would love to wear to this wedding? I'm going to pay a stylist. I want a dress shirt, a tie, a blazer, dress shoes, dress socks, and then can I wear pajama pants with them?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it has to be custom tailored pants, but go to Kohl's,
H&M,
and get a dress pant on clearance.
I need you to
got it. Because certain things have to be to a level. I would literally be like, girl, let me put tinted moisturizer on you, like something. We got to even because I can't do a smoky eye with bare skin because it's gonna make the smoky eye look bad. Like there has to be levels to everything. Oh. But you're right, girl. It was because we grew up in a time where, because of that first wave of YouTube beauty, certain things were catching fire before people even knew other things existed. People were all in on full coverage Dermacol foundation before they knew you didn't need to be a celebrity to wear a lash.
Yeah.
So things weren't caught up with each other.
We were fine putting leg and body makeup from Dermablend on the face, but we...
Leg and body makeup, bitch. Fuck you. Putting cover effects, Dermablend. Oh, I can't. You're totally right.
Yeah.
Yes. And then they were afraid of eyeliner.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
They're like,
we just wanted a
black mascara.
Face.
They were like, no, get that Clinique brown mascara over there. And they wanted that leg and body makeup all slathered on their face because it was sweat proof. And I was like, get the fuck away from me.
I know.
Please.
It's like trends weren't caught. The steps of makeup weren't all being taught to the general public at the same rate.
No, not at all.
That's sick.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Have you ever had a makeup fail that actually taught you something important?
Yes. Very much in the same breath as the Sephora conversation, doing black smoky eyes. And even I remember doing this at Fashion Week, that the first time I really had to pump and do smoky eyes.
Pump and dump.
Quite literally. I will never forget doing black smoky eyes, and the artist at the time, the lead artist, my first Fashion Week, said, we're doing a black smoky eye blown out. And I had the same complexion first. I did all the complexion first, and eyes were last.
No.
And I set everything completely. Go into the eyes, black.
It's a raining man.
No cream. That
was my.
I put Urban Decay shadow primer, clear. Started packing black on, and I was like, okay. And then I took a bone color on the brow bone. I was like, okay. When I looked down,
when they closed their eye,
no,
close your eyes.
When I stepped back and I saw,
the
fallout all over, and then I was like, okay,
panic,
brush it away.
Bird shit on the windshield.
Football player. Everybody better be jumping.
Better be spreading, girl.
I literally panicked, and I had to take fucking micellar water on 2 cotton rounds I mean,
Girl.
the
Yes.
wiping of everything, and my God.
And you can never really fix that.
I
Because
had to
there's always
wipe
going to
off-
be that line, girl.
I had to wipe off most of it, and
Yeah.
this makeup had to get done in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We were given, and that was generous.
Yes. See, my fail with black doing a smoky eye was I was doing a client, wanted black smoky eyes, and I was just starting out. And I've always been an eyeshadow whore, so blend until my hand cramps. I was packing that black matte eyeshadow on that eye, blended. And I always started with the eyes. Blended. She was blended beautifully. Eyes open, gradient, beautiful. Just powder. She closed those eyes. Eyeshadow, gone in the crease. Because that powder... just using, trying to get, I'm talking, a black smoky eye, full lid with just powder in the crease. The whole crease it would be gone as the lids sweat and the whole 9 yards. More senior artist than me was watching me do it, and she was like I did it. And she came up to me she took a black eyeliner gel pot and laid that down on the base of the eye to the crease, blended that out, and then I had to redo the powder because it needs that cream base to withstand that level, to get that level of opacity on the lid without creasing. Mama. And that was horrifying. And then the other one was a fail on myself, I'll never forget. And it was actually, I believe, around the time I started at Sephora. I was on a mission when I started at Sephora to really learn how to perfect invisible makeup. And a lot of it was out of my own insecurity because I wanted to wear makeup because I was working at Sephora now, but I didn't want anybody to tell in a way. So much of it. And then it kind of got me going where I was like, okay, but there has to be a way to do this. There has to be a way to look flawless and thin, but look undetectable. And I very quickly, especially coming up in the Kardashian era as makeup artists, I very quickly realized I was like, oh, natural makeup, undetectable makeup, this is so much harder than full glam because every other factor matters. If I'm stuccoing my wall, the state of the wall before I stucco it with concrete doesn't really matter that much.
Right.
But if I'm watering my paint down and doing a sheer little thin layer, every bump, scratch, anything on the wall to begin with is going to be seen. So then I was like, what? I have to exfoliate. I have to my state of my skin underneath, how hot, all of these factors. And then I remember one day on the way to Sephora, I did my makeup, ran an errand or so, went home, maybe an hour went by, and I didn't set it. I didn't set my makeup. I didn't set whatever foundation I had on with powder. I looked in my rearview mirror on the way. The Pangea.
I was going to say the tectonic plates were shifting.
Moving. It literally, my foundation, it separated all on my face like giraffe spots.
Yeah.
Where it clumped all in these sections and that's when I learned, oh, no matter what it is, we need to dust a little setting powder to keep that liquid from moving. And that was a lesson I only made once. A mistake I only made once.
And also not putting Too Faced lip injection as a
face gloss. Gloss. Yeah, absolutely. Burning my fucking...
Your eyes were sizzling on the way to work.
Yeah. Have the lines between makeup artist and influencer blurred too much?
1,000%.
Let's ask the audience.
It's been a problem since...
The creation of influencers.
The creation of YouTube beauty.
The creation of the internet.
I feel like people get the words makeup enthusiast and makeup artist very, very, very confused. If you only do makeup on yourself, and I'm not talking about your fucking family members for your fucking family reunions.
Girl.
I'm talking about if it has never been a job where you were paid money for it.
Yes.
Multiple years under your belt, multiple media, you are not a makeup artist.
Doing you've never met 80-year-old grandmother, doing 8 people in one day, doing all different skin tones, different skin types, ages, everything, I absolutely agree with you.
You are a makeup artist. You are not.
Does not make.
You are, and these YouTube people, I mean, it was so, I think people with the background coming from Mac and Sephora was so obvious at the time, like the Mannies and the Jeffreys that came from that world. But even that to me was so different because yes, you have the experience.
Yes.
But, and I get it. Like even now, I rarely take makeup clients, but when I do, it's people that I know.
Yeah.
And even that, I'm like, girl, keeping you at an arm's, because I don't like it.
Career, I have so much respect for career makeup artists. Like makeup artists that have done this for 35 years. That's unbelievable to me. Because, and I was also going to say, if that opinion inspires any defensiveness, think about what you do for a living. If I can handle maybe doing my own taxes one year on Quicken Books or whatever it's called, I'm not an accountant. I'm not an accountant, a full accountant. I'm not. So whatever you do for work, imagine if someone, imagine if someone did it enough and then called themselves what you do, your title. Yeah. That's the level. And that's the thing of what we're talking about influencers. They made it seem because the internet has revealed so much of how the sausage is made around makeup and doing makeup, they think it's not a difficult thing. Trixie and Katya were just talking about this with hairstylists. And Katya was like, why do people think they can cut their own hair? And Trixie said it's because there is, in a way, a lack of respect for that's not that hard. Yeah. I can put my hair in a ponytail, chop it off, and it's just going to fall like Jennifer Aniston. If that's what you think it is, you're sorely mistaken. If I think doing my QuickBooks makes me an accountant, I'm sorely mistaken. Like, so that's the thing. It's A, revealed too much of how the sausage is made, and B, you're losing all of the nuance of the way they are recommending products, the way they are teaching you, the way they are endorsing things, because that's how I always felt whenever when I make makeup content and I have a product, it baffles me to think that there is 95% of influencers that go, here's this thing was just sent to me. I don't like it. Burn it with fire. And don't even have, because again, they've never been makeup artists and done every skin tone, every age, everything that I always went, okay, this is not my taste. It doesn't work for my skin, my age, my whatever, but who would it work for? Yes. Like you and I have that Rolodex of knowing who it would work for and who it would work on. That doesn't happen on 99% of influencers. No. You got to decode. You got to almost get to know them well enough to go, okay, I know they have dry skin. So if she said this is shit because it made her skin look too dry, I have oily skin, so maybe it would work on me? Because she certainly can't tell me that. That's the problem. And that has caused a lot of confusion, mistrust. And I'm going to take it a step further and say that is what's also fueled overconsumption in the beauty industry. Because the beauty industry has then gone, oh, we love this. We love that 99% of the people educating you don't fucking know how to recommend it for you. We love that. So then we're going to capitalize on that and now make you think you need all of these products to compensate for not knowing what's what. And that really has leaned into, I think, the overconsumption, fast fashion of beauty.
Completely. And it all stemmed from these people, again, not knowing what they're doing. And then, again, to kind of make my point, you can be very artistic and you could do your makeup very, very, very well. Like, there's a lot of influencers that could do it extremely well. But that taking the term makeup artist, and then you are a makeup enthusiast, you can recommend makeup all day. You could do your makeup very beautifully, but that's what makes you a content creator, but not a makeup artist. That makes you an influencer, not a makeup artist. That makes you a makeup enthusiast, not a makeup artist.
You're sharing a passion you have.
And you could do it very well. And kudos to you. But that, again, is insulting to the people that are career makeup artists that are photo shoot after wedding, after magazine shoot, after film and TV. it's insulting to the true art form of doing other people's makeup, because there are plenty of makeup artists too that don't make content and that don't
Yes.
sell products online and don't influence, and they are just career makeup artists that do it well. And
Yes.
I don't that's a whole separate branch of being makeup artistry driven, but that doesn't mean that that's what this whole thing is called.
No.
And just because you do someone's makeup once, I always loved that at Sephora when they were like, "Oh, I'm a makeup artist." I'm like, "Really?"
Yes.
I'm
exactly,
like, "Really,
girl.
Yeah, that shows."
Yeah.
And it was always insulting, and I just, oh God,
because that's what I mean. I can tile a shower, and you see me redo my living room.
yeah,
I can make custom molding. It came out rather well. I am not a carpenter. I am
Right.
not a contractor.
Yeah.
Like, that's the difference,
Yeah.
girl. And it wouldn't result in me starting a podcast where I sat down next to another person that just could tile a shower and critique professional contractors' work. The reason we do makeup police, etc., is because we've been makeup artists for 10, 15 years. That's the difference. We're not enthusiasts critiquing professionals. We were and are professionals critiquing professionals.
Yeah.
That's where all of that is lost. So you have non-professionals quite literally setting the path for where an entire industry goes.
And tainting the space,
Yes.
and tainting the word of. And I think that any makeup influencer should be a makeup artist. It should work that way. There's more integrity behind the
Yes.
job then. But again, there's no qualifications, because anybody could turn on the camera and say what they are, and I'm
Absolutely.
going to misuse words, and
Yes.
whatever.
I know.
And it does, and especially with the overconsumption of everything, it does blow my mind how much of it. I mean, I know people firsthand. We have seen it firsthand where we've been at makeup events of people that don't even know what brand they're at, and then all of a sudden they're getting paid partnerships with that brand a month later.
Oh, girl.
They never
Absolutely.
even heard of them, and we're over here looking for the crumbs on the fucking floor.
Well, I
But-
feel like that leads us to the other two ones we have, so first, before that, because I feel like this is a point of what we just said. Are we teaching the next generation to associate value with virality and appearance over skill and authenticity? And piggybacking on what we just talked about, are we teaching the next generation to associate value with virality?
Yes.
That's also what drove me mad when I was making beauty content constantly. Was I go, okay, here I am sitting here, not doing that, not going, this doesn't work for me, it fucking sucks. I would have the wherewithal to go, okay, if it didn't work for me, who would it work for? I would make content with a makeup artist's brain. And then on top of it, another hurdle to get through with that was, okay, that's all well and good, but is this video even going to go viral? So not only do you have the people that aren't even makeup artists making makeup content, but the ones that rise to the top quickest are the ones that are even better entertainers than they are makeup enthusiasts. So you are 75% entertainer, 20% makeup enthusiasts, 5% artist. Yeah. Those were rising to the top of the top. And it was virality was king. And I believe I said it on another episode, but when I blew up on social media and broke 1 million followers on TikTok and 1 million subscribers on YouTube, I will never forget. At the time, I had to be 28, 29, which I considered old enough to not act like this. I had people in my life coming up to me with this look I had never seen in someone's eyes before. It was this window into whatever hole was in them emotionally, looking at me like, you did it. What does it feel like?
Like you got the chocolate factory from Willy Wonka.
As if
himself.
we were living in The Walking Dead and I was given the one ticket to the Garden of Eden, to Euphoria. That this look in their eye like, you did it. You did the thing we're all alive to dream of. And I had to look at adults in my mind. You're, 27 and older. We're definitely an adult. And shatter. Because you got to realize these were people These were the people that in our generation in high school were getting in fistfights over who the top 10 in their Facebook page was, who the top 10 in their MySpace was.
Yeah.
And that was our generation. That was millennials, let alone younger. Put that much value and currency on social media, that much self-worth. And I'll be honest, I had a little bit of conditioning where, as it happened to me, and I always said nothing felt as good as 10,000 followers. There's something about seeing it switch to 5 numbers, 5 digits. But after that, I don't know, especially that it was associated with work and it was associated with this thing. It wasn't maybe I would feel different if it was just my dog's account on Instagram for fun or whatever, but that it was my job and we're coming out of the pandemic and I was like, am I going to be homeless? What's my, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? That hunger kind of overshadowed it. But I had a thing where I go, should I feel more from this? I've been told I would feel more because I remember looking when I had 200 followers, meeting someone who had 12,000 Instagram followers. That did make me go, oh. So I had to look at these people and see the life leave their face as I went, it doesn't really matter. And that made me realize how much we've been conditioned to associate social media, your presence, your following, how you look, how you don't, with your self-worth.
And I do think that we are swinging back around the other way now,
Mm-hmm.
where followings do not matter.
Mm-mm.
Because I will say that, like, in the age of gone are the days where the biggest people were, even there was a point in my life where I would apply for certain things. And if you didn't have more than 5,000 Instagram followers, you weren't even considered.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that shattering so much of like my perception of what that was,
What
that I
you
was like,
had
I
worked
can
towards.
never, you don't know that I could perform this job better than that person, but
Yes.
I'm more qualified for the job and you're going to hire this other person because they have 15,000 followers on Instagram. And it's the most frustrating thing because I think it's this weird level of like feeling underappreciated, but also at the same time, not looking for others' validation in the work that
Yes.
I'm doing, but also if there's not enough people there, these brands don't give you the time of day until now they've swung back around saying, we want to work with smaller creators and we want to give you the
Yes.
opportunities. Oh, but it's not enough money to sustain your life.
Yes.
It's going to be enough so you can maybe pay a car payment this month
Yes.
if you're lucky.
Yes.
This weird line that we're towing right now, because I feel like I'm taken seriously by some brands and they appreciate it, but then it's also not appreciated enough because they want you to do free work for them because they're like, take the opportunities that you're given. But like,
Yes.
we'll entertain you for now. But
Yeah.
it's I don't know. I think the followings and everything, I think at this point mean nothing.
Oh, absolutely.
Where back in the day, it used to be indicative if you would get the job.
Oh, without a doubt. And then they abused it, which is why it doesn't
Mhm.
even matter anymore. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's even happening with actors. How many actors talk about like they're literally, I auditioned for this and the producer, A-list celebrities, and they go, but the producer said to me, like, we need someone who has a bigger Instagram following.
Yeah.
Which, let me also say this, and I will die on this hill. It should be illegal for any job you have to think that your social media following is of use to them in any way. Would you also like my phone contacts? If you hire me, are you entitled to the people in my phone contacts and my email address book? My social media is my social media. If I get hired as an actor, whatever the case is, Paramount Studios, you're making the movie. If you don't have the money to advertise the film without leeching off of your actors' social medias, then I guess you're broke. Then I guess you're a broke bitch. Then I guess it's time to wrap it up and file Chapter 11 because you are not entitled. Because it even happens in other industries. I know people, we're getting to the point now, lawyers who have to network and bring in clients and accountants. And so many of these, and even that to a degree, your networking aspects of bringing in clients to the firm, which that always gets revealed to a hire that wasn't in the job description, nor is it reflected in the money you're making every year.
Completely.
We hired you to sit at this desk and be the accountant. Oh, and by the way, 6 months after you've been there, parentheses, could you join this mixer and bring in a couple million for the firm?
How is that
you
fair?
do your job and I'll do mine.
I was hired to do the job that I'm doing, and I'm doing it more than perfectly.
Yes.
And I'm getting paid this amount. If you want me to then be the
public relations office person,
social hour, I'm going to the
Miss Press Secretary,
and I have to go pull in clients for whatever firm you're working for. Get the fuck out of here. You are then going to pay me overtime for the work that I'm doing, and that is what gets under my skin.
Oh, you mean do the thing that other businesses run better than yours have entire departments dedicated for?
Why can't people be hired for the job that they are capable of doing? And if I can do at 7,000 Instagram followers better job than someone with fucking 800,000, why am I getting shit on and they are getting every opportunity? But I know more than them confidently, and I know for a fact, without being cocky, that I am better than them in this industry because I've been doing this longer. I'm actually a fan of the brand, and that person didn't even know this brand existed until you DM'd them.
Without a doubt. Because
so get out of here.
There's so many layers to it in the sense that it's like, that's a symptom of the industry so many industries not understanding that a smaller, more dedicated fan base is so much more powerful than a bigger, disloyal one. And I learned that doing this. I could make a comedy skit tomorrow that could get, at this point, I could do it like a formula. I could make a comedy skit that will get a minimum 2 million views. The minute that video stops playing and they go, they don't care if I'm dead. They will never think of me again. Most of those millions. Most.
Yeah.
It's only the ones that you have to perform at a 900% to maybe walk away with 2%.
Yeah.
And this audience, our beautiful and bothered audience, when I was full swing on YouTube Shorts, Instagram, and TikTok with 3 million followers, I would have never started a brand. So really done merch in a big way that I was maybe losing any money, so on and so forth. Here, it's a different ballgame because there is so much more trust, connection, understanding that is lost, let alone what you're really even talking about, which is why I made my first comedy skit out of spite. Why, if I'm being not even on social media, if I like me applying to be the national makeup artist for YSL Beauty, where you wanted a bachelor's degree, check, 10 years of experience, check, so on and so hitting every check, and then a minimum of 5,000 Instagram followers. So I hope you hired someone who was a shit makeup artist and was able to broadcast it versus hiring you who didn't have 5,000 followers, but was actually a makeup artist for 10 years. More than qualified to do the job. Yeah. And that's, I can't imagine, because not only has it fucked up our social skills and that whole understanding of like what the question was, valuing virality over equating that with value, but even for adults in their jobs now, it has penetrated and permeated every industry so much. It just came out the other day. Amongst Gen Z, they consider influencers more famous than celebrities.
That is wild.
That's the thing, bitch. And then the last one, does the beauty industry push femininity as a requirement instead of a choice? Which, girl, also leads
since the dawn of time.
Oh, girl.
Since the start of the beauty industry.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, well, especially. I mean, God, go back to that episode where we looked at old makeup ads.
And I mean, even look at current ads.
Want to find a husband?
91 out of 100 women.
Oh, of course. Of course.
And even pushing the beauty standard of this is how women should look.
Yes.
And at this day and age when makeup is something that can be tried on by all gender expressions and gender identities. So why is it that we still are pigeonholing makeup and beauty from, I would say, not all brands, but a lot of them?
Yeah.
That we pigeonhole people. This is for women, only women.
I know.
91% of women agreed that this made their skin look like this.
Yes. I know.
What are we doing?
Well, because even the second part of the other question of do we value appearance over skill and authenticity? Appearance. And what's the main appearance a brand wants in anything to do with their beauty line?
Yeah.
A woman.
And
a beautiful, thin, blonde woman, white woman at that. That's the goal.
And for clearing this up, I understand demographic wise, majority of women versus like cisgendered women versus cisgendered men. And
yes,
are their makeup brands target women to sell their makeup to? I understand that. But to exclusively say and make it a point to say it, I found it fascinating when I started to pay attention to the marketing verbiage of everything. And especially when I was in college and I was taking marketing studies, and the subliminal things that they would say and do. And
yes,
they were like, look at commercials. And like, we had to pick a thing.
Yeah.
And then look up commercials, look up advertisements, magazines, in every media form there was for that ad. And it actually started to make me sick.
Yeah.
Because I was so far in Sephora at that point that I was like, and I was even going to work and I had to take photos of like the gondolas. And it was especially at the time of like 2013 to 2015, 16.
Shout out to Milk Makeup. Do you remember the time? It would have been 2013. No, it would have been 2015. Milk Makeup, shout out. All of us scurrying around their gondola in awe because there was a man on it in makeup.
That's right. Yes,
good for you,
did.
Milk Makeup. You remember that? It was the first time, and not a man looking like he stumbled off the basketball court.
And
made it into the makeup photo. He was in makeup, and we were all like, "Oh," as if we just discovered fire.
Yeah,
2015
makeup, man.
Yeah,
like it was crazy. And that's where I'm like, even for us being men in the beauty industry, getting accused left and right that we want to be women. I don't.
Yeah.
I just think this art form is something that spoke to me and I like it.
Yes.
But even for us to be shocked to see a man on a beauty advertisement was
absolutely
unreal.
And I'm sorry, any defensiveness to this is your inherent bias bubbling up. Because if your knee-jerk reaction is to just go, well, most of consumers are women, so they want women. There was a time when women couldn't wear pants. So do you only buy pants if the models are men?
Yeah.
No.
And then but let's take women in makeup ads and women consuming makeup, purchasing it. If you don't look good enough or more feminine enough wearing said beauty products or doing hair, makeup, anything to do with your appearance, if you don't fit and look the part, you are exiled.
Yes.
You are gross. You need to do better. And it has always been that way with fashion, especially makeup and hair and everything. The beauty industry, full encompassing fashion and all of that, has always been so critical of women's looks that were consuming the content of said thing. Who you're selling that to?
Yes.
If you don't look like this, don't even bother, but you should still buy it.
That's what I mean.
Do better.
Yes.
And that's where I just like always was so, especially with like the old school ads that we did.
Yeah.
And even the intro to this podcast.
I was just going to say, bitch, because the longer I've been on social media, which is difficult as far as like a sociological study of how people behave and react. I will, hopefully it's not this way forever, but nothing is more heartbreaking to me than the cultural consciousness not realizing that LGBT people and women, straight women, are fighting for so much of the same thing.
Yeah.
That is always so heartbreaking to me. So when I see like a straight woman in a comment section of Maybelline who has a guy in their ad exactly being like,
This isn't
I
for
yearn
you.
for the days my husband locked me inside and I could cook him dinner. I just go,
Like, what are you wishing for?
we're all fighting against, we may be a gay man, we may be whatever the case may be, but we're all fighting against that toxic masculinity, patriarchal thing. And they love that you think, a gay man in makeup somehow threatens your femininity. They love it. They love it. And you know what that results in? Them sending Katy Perry to space. Thinking that that's empowerment.
Yeah.
And I'm not, LGBT people have their own struggles that no one else can relate to. Every letter has a struggle the other letters can't relate to. Straight women have struggles that no one else
cannot
can relate to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so much of LGBT people and straight women's Venn diagram overlap. And it kills me that most people do not realize that. Because the longer we don't realize that and join together, come together, the longer we don't, the more we're gonna have to see Katy Perry in space.
We are going in a wave pool and we're fighting the current. Like, we need to just start going with it and understand that we're not fighting with each other in the wave pool. We need to work together.
Yes.
And quite literally go with the flow and help each other out.
Absolutely.
Come to mama and tell me who hurt you.
Because that's why they send Katy Perry to space. Because they go, oh, well, based on the way you're all acting, we think that that's going to empower you. Because you're all fighting them. We're succeeding in doing the thing we twirl our mustache at night about, which is loving when a woman finds a man in makeup as somehow threatening to your femininity. Or when Fox News ran that, and poor Manny's picture was platted over Fox News,
know that
male beauty creators were, quote, and I quote, stealing jobs from women. That level of intelligence is rewarded with thinking putting Katy Perry in space is empowering to you. That's why you and I always talk about these things the way we do, because I just fucking wish so many of these beauty brands that reach out, 99% of them are women that reach, and I just wish they realized, especially in this space, because we're also trying to dismantle a fucked up thing that is done to women and has been done to women forever, which is your value is inherently related to how you look. They keep giving the brand deals to the girls who are the best at making you jealous of how they look.
Yeah.
Telling you to not wear pants. And you and I are sitting here going, they didn't send us the dresses because we're faggots, but they're shit. We bought them anyway at a deficit to ourselves. They're horrible material. Let us show you what pants to wear. Let us do, we love wearing dresses and pants. Let's fix this together. And 90% of the industry looks at you and I and goes, oh, no, get someone else to do it. Like, yuck.
You're being too courageous here.
A liability, which is what we've been called 79 times. Like, that's what, and I just go, like, I just can't.
If you guys only knew that we are so threatening to beauty brands because of how honest we are, because we're girl. And it's amazing though, because there's this resurgence too coming of like, I won't say what brand it is or who gives a shit. Elf posted their lip balms. Everyone in the comments was like, this girl is so fucking cringe because of how she's trying to sell these. And I'm sick and tired of
girl?
it.
Oh, a girl in the Elf
somebody
post.
that they hired. They were like, I can't believe you are letting this happen. This is disgusting.
Yeah.
So let it be said that people are fucking sick of them throwing something in the camera saying, you need this. No one gives a shit.
Clear, borderline, translucent pink thing that is everywhere. Like, and that girl, they're everywhere. And that's the thing,
I got
baby.
3 of them right here.
That's the thing. Is
same shit.
That is the hope, the gem of hope to end on is like, I do feel like people are getting so disgusted and burnt out with cringe lack of authenticity.
Yeah.
That thing, which thank God, like hopefully. And honestly, I'm curious.
Our time is coming.
To re-enter the, with the following I have, I'm lucky to just be able to re-enter the, well, I'm not lucky because I earned it. I'd start giving myself credit, but I'm interested on getting right back into this horse with the following I have after taking, let's be frank, a year and a half, if not almost 2 years off to Kiki over here. To see the difference, of like how things are received. How's that gonna, just to take the temp.
Well,
getting back into it. I'm so curious because I really don't, I haven't been in the thick of it in so long the way I was. So we'll see, baby. All right, everybody, that is it for another episode of Beautiful and Bothered. Subscribe to the channel.
It helps.
Yeah, the episode comes out on Sundays on YouTube, the video episode, and then make sure to subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, where the episode streams on Mondays. Subscribe to Patreon. 9 months worth of content over there. So much fun stuff, decluttering, after shows, etc., etc. Wherever you are, we hope you are happy, safe, and healthy. And remember,
you are beautiful.
Bye, guys.
Bye.